don't know who needs to hear this, but becoming that girl is not suddenly going to hit you on January 1st at 12:01 a.m. So let's talk about what actually will help you become the person that you are ready to be. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Taking Up Space with Jordan. I'm your host, Jordan, and today is the podcast second birthday. Woo, woo, woo. And I'll be honest, it's a little wild. I started the show to inspire women to go after their dreams, and lately, I'll be honest, it feels like my dream is taking just a hair longer than I had expected. Maybe it's because I didn't realize how long this road would be. Maybe I've taken a wrong turn or messed up something along the way. And maybe the universe is just preparing me for something bigger than I even realized yet. But here's what I do know. In the middle of the chaos that is my life right now, this podcast is still the one thing that brings me a lot of joy. And that tells me that I am still on the right path, even if the timeline doesn't look like how I imagined. Even if it's slower, messier, or more confusing than I thought it'd be, it's still mine. And I know that's a heavy way to start part 2 of our Becoming Her series, but I never want to pretend that building your dream life is always clean or even cute. A lot of the times it's hard, it's difficult, and it's being delusional, and it's crying, and it's getting frustrated, and it's sometimes not being your best self. And right now, I am in a hard chapter, but hard chapters don't last forever. They eventually do open the doors. They refine you, they reroute you toward the version of you that you're meant to meet. So let's get into what you came here for. How to become the person you want to be and why that process starts right now. When I first think about 2026, my first thought is, well, it's gotta be fucking better than 2025, right? And honestly, a lot of us feel that way. This year was heavy, emotionally, mentally, energetically, politically. So many of us were just trying to survive the day while still holding ourselves to impossible standards and still trying to hold it together for everyone around us. And that's normal. Year end always pulls our minds towards what we didn't do instead of what carried us. We overlook all of the quiet growth, the tiny wins, the moments that we held ourselves together when no one else saw, the resilience that we didn't ask for, but we showed up for anyway. I get caught up in this trap a lot when it feels like my life is falling apart or when I can't see the other side of the path. I am not immune to becoming overwhelmed by the blockers and side quests that life seems to want to take us on. And lately, again, it feels like I got a lot of blockers. But when I think about the whole year in its entirety, I see there was a lot of growth, a lot of quiet confidence. I started filming myself this year and posting on YouTube regularly, something that I didn't think that I would ever do. And I created more than 135s that were specific for YouTube, which is flabbergasting to me. I hit my goal of 500 subscribers on TikTok, and I'm hoping by the end of the year that I will hit 100 on YouTube for subscribers. But what I've learned this year is that consistency and micro steps are the only way that consistent and quiet growth can occur. The tiny choices that stack up are what got me further than I realized in the moment, which is exactly why you cannot wait until January to think about who you want to start to be next year. Becoming her doesn't happen overnight. It starts now in these small decisions that you make today, in the self-honesty that you're willing to sit with, in the shifts that feel small, but the ones that change everything. The new year brings a lot of energy for people. You see the cultural obsessions of new year, new me, and how that traps people into those boom or bust changes. Basically, if you don't see growth by January 14th, why even try? Give up now. And I've been guilty of this. You've been guilty of this. Your mom has been guilty of this. All of us have been guilty of it. So why not, instead of starting January 1st with the I'm going to overhaul my life and it's going to be amazing and immediately work mentality, why not start asking yourself with something a little bit smaller, like, who do I want to be tomorrow? Because that question, that one's actually one that you can answer. I'm planning on having a whole vision board episode for you. I'm also hosting my own vision board night, which I'll be posting on my blog very soon, on how you can go step by step to acquire all the things that you need so that you can have a fantastic and beautiful vision board session, especially if you decide to do it with friends or even just by yourself. But that will be coming very soon. All right, back to the episode. In preparation for 2026, I've been doing a lot of thinking, walking, and honestly, I'm kind of getting tired of my own voice. But kidding, I'm a podcaster. We never get tired of our own voice. But honestly, just getting quiet with myself and really starting to think about what I actually need versus what I want. And honestly, I need 2026 to be my year. Not in this perfectionist, everything has to magically work out way, but in a real, genuine way. Grounded, aligned. I'm actually becoming the person that I keep talking about type of way. And I need that year where my actions are matching my desires and my choices are matching my dreams. I feel like how things have been going is I have dreams, but my choices have not 100% been aligning with where my dreams or where I'm wanting my dreams to go. And maybe you're feeling that way too. Maybe you had goals this year that you got close to but didn't fully hit. And yes, the year is not over. You can still surprise yourself. But I know that feeling of wanting a clean slate, a shift, a new version of yourself that actually sticks and doesn't disappear by mid-January. So I want to walk you through a few of the visualization questions that I've been asking myself. This is not dramatic. This is nothing that's super overly mystical. It's just honest check-ins that help you see who you're trying to become and remove some of that fog, at least hopefully. And if you're listening somewhere you can take a pause or close your eyes, that's great. If not, just let the questions land where they land. First, start with, who do I want to be when January hits? Not the ideal version. I want the real one, the version of you who feels possible and sustainable. What do I want to feel daily? This is not about achievements. This is about feelings. Do you want ease? Do you want confidence? Do you want to feel stability, excitement, peace, momentum? Next, what does a her decision look like for me? If I were already that version of myself, what would I choose today? This is where honesty really matters. I don't want you thinking of what version of her looks like for other people. When we hear about the it girl mentality or being that girl, what I am talking about is I want you living in a way that feels authentic and genuine, peaceful and happy. What does that version of you look like? She's not going to look like the girl that's posting on TikTok with 2.4 million followers and has a full hair, skin, chef, and everything routine. What is your version of you? Next, what are the habits that she holds, the boundaries she's honoring, the energy that she is choosing? And what is one tiny version of that that you could start practicing today? One small shift that your future will actually thank you for. And this isn't about imagining a whole new life. This isn't about overturning your bedroom at 2:00 in the morning. It's about getting clear on the direction you're moving and choosing one small step that moves you closer to that version of you. One step that you can actually sustain. Now, I want you to get even more honest with yourself and reflect on the past year. When you've asked yourself those questions that we just talked about and had that visualization, you're probably having some things come up. It might be some blockers, it might be memories of things that you have tried in the past and you have failed. I want you to really think of all of the painful moments this year, the ones that you've been hiding away from. And I want you to do something even scarier. I want you to say every bad moment that you can think of out loud. The reason for this is I want you to get used to the discomfort of preparing for a new year. Because becoming the person that you want to be, it's going to take you being uncomfortable. It's going to take you realizing that you can do more in your life, and getting comfortable with not having all the answers, that's okay. So think of the moments where this one hurt, this one disappointed you, this one took pieces out of you. And when you learn to ask yourself these questions, you'll notice that there are going to be a lot of things that are going to be creeping in. Because when I was first doing this exercise, what I found myself doing, or what was coming up for me, was a lot of grief. I was so upset with the unmet expectations that I had set myself up for. I was upset that once again, I felt like I was starting over in my life. And I know that I found myself being tired of constantly being the resilient friend, constantly being the resilient daughter, constantly being the resilient one. And I don't think resilience is a compliment. I've said it before on this podcast, but calling someone resilient is not the compliment you think it might be. Yeah, you're so resilient. Oh, geez, thanks. I love having life kick me in the nuts every other week, but don't worry about me. I'll just bounce right up. No, that's no. If you're feeling like you are tired of being resilient, just know I'm right there with you. We shouldn't have to keep being resilient and facing change and transition. But what we can do, though, for ourselves is not give up on the hope. is not give up on our dreams, no matter how hard this year or the year before was. Because one thing I do believe is that it does balance out eventually. Hard years will create the clear ones. We just have to be a little bit more patient than others, and that patience is the hardest part. Trust me, I'm right there in the waiting room getting a little bit antsy. So now that you've done a little bit of rage crying, you've been honest with yourself, now we get to the micro steps that you are going to do today to start becoming the person that you want to be. Because again, change doesn't come for you with big sweeping gestures. It comes in consistently showing up for yourself in small, teeny tiny ways every day. And that's where the transformation is actually going to happen. So first things first, to prep. And this also kind of leads into the vision board episode that I'll be creating very, very soon. But I want you to name the theme or word for 2026. Is it ease, abundance, community, discipline, softness, bravery? My theme? It's becoming. It honors where I am and where I'm going. I'm tired of starting over, so I'm thinking of 2026 as the year of stepping into the version of me that I've always been, but now I'm fully embracing her. This word also holds both softness and power, which is something that I always want to balance. And becoming is not harsh. It's not perfectionist. It's not even pressure filled. It's movement and it's expansion. And it leaves room for a little bit of mystery and magic, which is something I love to have a little bit each year. It's a word that feels like growth without like forcing it. Next, choose one habit that 2026 you does effortlessly. This is thinking through the future. And I want you to start that baby version of what that habit is today. One habit I'm holding myself a little bit more accountable in 2026 is that 2026 me, she's cleaner. I am not good at keeping up on my chores all the time. That's why my TikTok is filled with deep clean videos or vlogs, because it just gets lost on me. ADHD brain or something. I don't know. But I'm starting a literal chore wheel for myself so that I can start holding myself accountable, because it's all about baby steps, but real ones that I can actually sustain. Next, I want you to choose one boundary 2026 you doesn't negotiate. And I want you to begin practicing the smallest version of that now. My time that I block off for writing has become non-negotiable. I need that space to have a clear head and be able to put pen to paper or hands to keyboard. It's the only way that I will actually reach one of my dreams, which is publishing a book. And the only way I can do that is actually showing up for the time blocking that I'm doing for it and holding myself accountable to that. And future me is doing that. Next, choose one thing future you is letting go of. A belief, a fear, a storyline, a comparison loop. Mine is that good things don't happen for me. It's a hard belief that I've had since I was a child, and it only continues to creep in. And so I am attempting to let go of this belief system each day in very, very small ways. But one of the ways that I'm doing that is writing one good thing that happened to me each night in my journal. Just one moment of proof, so that when that mindset is creeping in, or when I feel that voice coming up for myself, I can say, hey, no, look at all of the good things that have happened to us. There's going to be big things. There's going to be small things. But for me, it matters documenting the small things. My coffee order was right. My dogs pooped on schedule. I was able to get out of the house. I finally hit a milestone in one of my TikTok goals or my content creator goals. All of those things matter, and they need to be celebrated, even in just one small way, just so that my brain finally can see that there is proof that good things do in fact happen. So choose one belief, one fear, a comparison, whatever it is, and just write it down. Next, I want you to choose one area where you're investing in. Time, energy, money, routines. I'm investing in my energy, and I've spent a lot of time on energy on people that didn't deserve it. So I'm taking it back. I'm reinvesting it in myself, in my dreams, in my peace, and specifically my creative life. The reason for these micro steps is that you are choosing. I'm very specific in my wording because every action we take is a choice, and words have so much power. Every time we choose to act in alignment with our dreams or against them, it is a choice. So what choices are you going to make so that you can be the person that you want to be in 2026? Because you do not need to wait until January to get started. And I would encourage you to not. There is always going to be a reason to wait until after the holidays to think about this stuff later. But if you start small each day with just asking yourself, what do I want my everyday to look like? What would I change about today? That's you starting the journey of becoming the person that you want to be. And it's that simple and it's that powerful. You get to choose when you want to make a change, because becoming the person you want to be is not a set end date. It is a direction that you go. The person you want to be starts with how you show up for yourself right now. And I promise you that you are closer than you think. It's a reminder that we are all closer to being the person that we want to become than we were yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. Growth is quiet, and sometimes you don't always realize that you are growing. But one day, I promise, you are going to look back and you're going to see the older version of you, and you're going to want to say thank you to her. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some patience, and keep going after your dreams, one small step every day. Thank you so much for giving this episode a listen. If you liked it, you can check out more by liking and subscribing to the podcast so that you won't ever miss out on an upcoming episode. Cheers to everyone, and I am just very thankful to anyone and everyone that listens to the podcast. Again, I have now been doing this for 2 years, and it has been a very eye-opening and growing experience. I have learned so much about myself. I've become so much more confident in sitting down in front of a mic. And honestly, it is a reminder every time I get here that I am closer and closer to my dreams every single day. And it wouldn't be without you guys listening. So wherever you are today, I hope you can take a moment and thank your past self for getting you here today, because I wouldn't be here without my own past self deciding that she was going to take a chance. Because remember, your past selves, they were strong then so that you can be strong now. Kisses.